one of the weapons China demonstrated is a missile with all the warheads. We call it 61 because it can contain 60 nuclear warheads plus one hydrogen bomb. And that ICBM can cover every corner of the world in less than 20 minutes and destroy any target in any corner of the world without any possibility of being intercepted. No country in China's neighborhood is a match against China in terms of military power. China's military buildup is a matchup against only one country, that is the United States. China will never allow the United States to launch a war against China, conventional or nuclear, without suffering devastating consequences. If you want to have war, you will get war. If you want to destroy China, you will be destroyed. If you want to impose nuclear war on China, you will be wiped out by nuclear war. This is very serious. China's policy is very clear. China will not fire the first shot, but China will not allow you to fire the second shot. That's why, while I'm pained to see the confrontation between China and the Philippines in the South China Sea, I also feel blessed that they are only using water cannons against each other. Make no mistake, China has more lethal things than water cannons.
Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah, Kodash, and a sincere salutations to the hopeful elect, and also a healthy shalom to the few akwath that are listening and learning. Lord's willing, this lesson be edifying. And I would like to start this lesson off with Isaiah chapter 54 and verse 16, which reads, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals and the fire." Now, what is a smith? A smith is a person skilled in creating something with specified material. All right. I'm pretty sure you've heard of a blacksmith, which is skilled in metals, a gunsmith, and so forth and so on. OK, continuing on, it reads, "And that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy." All right. So this smith, all right, this person who's specialized in creating a specific thing, okay, bringeth forth an instrument for his work. Now, the smith are these scientists that the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, put the spirit on to split the atom, all right, to put, or should I say, to bring to life nuclear capabilities and nuclear weapons. Okay, one of the Smith that's famous is Mr. Oppenheimer, who you see on the screen. All right, and many other scientists that were a part of the Manhattan Project, okay, that helped bring about this waster, okay, this weapon of destruction, which the Heavenly Father calls it. So once again, it says, "And I have created the waster to destroy." Now, there's no other weapon with the destruction capability as a nuclear weapon. All right. You know, so much so that this representative from China spoke of an ICBM called 61. Okay. It has 61 warheads and one hydrogen bomb. Now, just imagine the damage that that single ICBM could do to a city, to a country. All right. Now, from here, let's grab Revelation chapter 9, and we'll start at verse 16. It reads, "And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, all right, which equals 200 million. Now, this isn't speaking of an army of men. John the Revelator was explaining this vision that the Heavenly Father had given him the best way he could, because obviously there was no such thing as a ICBM in John's time. Okay, so he likened it to an army, okay, a mass army of ICBMs in the sky. All right. So it reads, and I heard the number of them, and thus I saw horses in the vision. All right. John is further expanding about his vision. It says, and thus I saw horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and of brimstone. Okay, he's describing what? He's describing an intercontinental ballistic missile. This is what he's describing. All right. It says, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions. Right, because that's where all the power is. Okay. And the head of the ICBM. That's where all the nuclear warheads are stored. All right. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find a better image. All right. So here you go. These are the warheads. All right. There you go. Even with them, stacked right there, they kind of look like, teeth, the gaps between a lion's teeth. Okay. And then this is a more detailed breakdown. So it says, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone. Right. Because once they make impact, that's exactly what they unleash. They unleash fire, smoke, and brimstone. It reads, by these three was the third part of man killed. Right. Speaking of Edom. Okay. Remember, there's three classifications of men according to the Holy Scriptures. There's the sons of God, which is Yasharallah, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And then there's the sons of men, which are the other nations. And then there's sons of the wicked. Okay. Edomites. All right. Because once this nuclear destruction happens, they're not all going to be destroyed. Okay. Because there's Edomites scattered throughout the four corners of the earth also. All right. But their system is going to be destroyed completely. It says, by these three, because prophecy says that they're going to go into captivity for 1,000 years, and then they're going to get Obadiah 1:18. So it says, by these three was a third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths. It reads, for their power is in their mouth, right, the head of the missile, and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, right? Their tails are like unto serpents, okay? The propulsion system. All right, this is what John saw, okay? That's why he said like unto serpents, because they leave that smoke trail behind them that looks like a snake. All right, Lord's willing, this is making sense. It reads, for their tails were like unto serpents, and the head, Salakia, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. Yeah, you're damn right they hurt. Okay, that what is it? That blessing of destruction. Okay, it's gonna sweep America, Babylon the Great. Like a broom, man. Like you're sweeping up, dirt out of your house. It's gonna completely destroy America, Babylon the Great in 1 hour and turn it into the world's largest desert. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. All right, so let's end it here. This is the judgment for the Edomites. So it reads, Jeremiah 49 and verse 12. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. Right. You Israelites. Okay. We've drunken of that cup. Okay. That cup of recompense, of judgment from the Heavenly Father. It says, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? All right. Speaking to Esau Edom, you're not going to go unpunished for all the rape, robbery, and murder that you disguise as colonialism and things that you've done on the earth. Thus saith the Lord, thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. Right. You got to drink of that cup. Okay. The scriptures say that you're going to have a double cup. Okay. Of everything you've dished out and more. It reads, for I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that Bozrah, okay, representing Edom. It says that Bozrah, all right, or, Edom, Idumea. It says that Bozrah shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste. Okay, and what's going to make it a waste? The waster. And a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetually wasted. Right. And what's going to cause that perpetual wastedness? You're looking at it. You're looking at it. Okay. I don't know how many 61s China have, but between China and all the other nations and America's allies, which are going to shoot missiles on her, this place is going to be through. Lord's willing, this was edifying. Shalom, Israel. Wa Abad Babal.